Hi, how's it going there? It's just Lenny. I thought I would make a little video on my walk home from work just on a very cool thing that I read in this book that my friend lent to me called The Free Buddhist Monks, or The Free Japanese Buddhist Monks, I suppose. It was a really good read. There was just a lot of stuff that went over my head there. But there was a couple of good bits in there that I really enjoyed. And one thing that kind of struck out to me, and my pal who lent me the book actually was over mine yesterday, was this really good bit of writing from Yoshida Kenkō. I hope I'm saying his name right. So a medieval Buddhist monk. And I'm paraphrasing, but he basically writes about how no one would think to come into a house that you would pass by if the owner's in the house. But if the owner's away, you'd get maybe like birds, spirits, perhaps even other people entering your house at will. And then he goes on to make an interesting point about mirrors and how they have no inherent shape or color to them, and really a mirror is just full of space in a sense, and that's quite interesting, and because it's so full of space, it allows itself to capture everything in its reflection, and then he basically says, in a way, the mind can also be like this too, in a sense that if you're not occupying that space or present in there, then all sorts of things will, all sorts of thoughts will tend to invade that space in your mind, and I thought that was very cool, very cool. A really kind of poignant bit of observation that I was like, oh, actually, yeah. And isn't that true? Isn't that quite true of a lot of things? I think as well, it's almost like, I'll talk about music, but it's almost like if you go into a jam session, a rehearsal, or a recording session, filling your mind with the information that you already know, everything there is to know, or a lesson or a lecture, thinking that you know everything there is to know, well then you're not really present and paying attention. And with a creative act like making music, for example, it's the same too. If you go in thinking this is how things should be, well then you'll get the results you're probably expecting, but you'll also miss out on a whole bunch of other things, subtle changes. But yeah, anyhow, I thought that was really cool. I'd recommend giving the book a read. It's like this thin, which is great because that's about how much my mind can take over the course of a month. So, but yeah, hopefully you find that quite interesting. I might even blend a video of reading the actual thing in this. So yeah, take care, take it easy. People do not simply take it into their heads to walk into some house if the owner is present. But if a house is empty, passers-by will casually come in. The lack of human presence will encourage foxes and owls to make themselves at home there, and tree spirits and such like bizarre creatures will even appear. Likewise, since a mirror has no inherent shape or color, everything can appear reflected in it. If it had its own color and shape, it wouldn't reflect other things. The emptiness of space allows it to contain things. The fact that thoughts can come crowding into our mind at will must mean that mind is actually an empty space too. If someone were really in residence there, it would surely not be invaded by all these thoughts.